Hi, and welcome to Vermilion Lane. Today we're going to be making my hubby's favorite, and that is a very light and ever so fluffy meatloaf. Let's get started. All meatloaf starts with a really good base. I like panko breadcrumbs, half a cup of heavy cream. I know that sounds weird, but the breadcrumbs are going to soak up that cream and your meatloaf is going to be velvety and delicious. And then 2 previously beaten eggs. So beat up those eggs before they come in here, and then you won't have to do so much stirring to get your breadcrumbs incorporated. So I'm just gonna swish this around a bit just to make sure that all of my dry panko breadcrumbs have a little bit of liquid on them, and they're gonna drink that up. This is going to bind together your meatloaf, but it's also going to give much needed moisture to your meatloaf. We're going to season our breadcrumbs with a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ground pepper and a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. I've got 1 stalk of celery and a handful of baby carrots. I just happen to have some left over. Here's 2 small onions. If you don't have baby carrots on hand, obviously it doesn't make a difference. If you use a large one, just 1 is fine. If you have medium size, go for 2. I'm going to pulse this just because that's easier for me, but if you want to chop them up, go right ahead. We've heated olive oil to low medium. Now I'm going to add in my mirepoix, and that's just fancy for carrots, onion, and celery. And I'm going to stir these bad boys around until they're nicely coated with olive oil. Now that everything's nice and warm, I'm adding my chopped fresh herbs. Just use whatever you have on hand. I happen to have thyme and parsley. I use 80-20, 1 pound of 80-20, 1 pound of 90-10, and 1 pound of 85-15. I know that sounds a little excessive. You could use a 1/2 pound of each if you're cutting this recipe in half, but I just find that it just gives me that perfect consistency. You need enough fat to make this juicy, but you need enough premium ground beef to make it really hearty. So again, just a very light folding and combining of ingredients, making sure that you're getting everything from the bottom. And that's it. Time to get this bad boy shaped and in the oven. I like to use a loaf pan because I think it's just sort of easier than trying to form the perfect meatloaf shape on a sheet pan. But if you don't have it, line a sheet pan with parchment paper and go for it. So I'm using this 1 cup scoop just so that I'm not, again, overworking my meat. I get a nice mound in there, and then I begin to very gently mush it in. So you might be wondering, hey, Drea, what are you doing with those leftovers over there? Those, my friend, will become a very delicious meatballs. Our glaze is a really simple combination of ketchup and Worcestershire sauce. Just the right amount of sweet and tart. Put a few globs on and then spread it evenly over. I'm placing a tray of water under my meatloaf. That is going to ensure, again, that we have a delicious, moist meatloaf, not at all dried out.